Hi, I'm Sherry Preston with the Gering Library, and I am here with Charles Lieske, and he is the president of the Gering Library Foundation, and we're going to talk a little bit about the foundation. So Charles, what brought you to the Scottsbluff-Gering area?
I was actually recruited out here for employment. I work at Mediation West, one of the 6 Supreme Court approved mediation centers for the state of Nebraska. And it's really been great being out here. Our center covers 15 counties, and so I get to travel the whole panhandle, but live in the Scottsbluff-Gering area and just really fallen in love with it out here. We love the people, the climate. It's been a really great change for us, having come from eastern Nebraska, and we're glad that we're here.
Great. I like it here too. What are your ties to libraries?
Well, when we were on the eastern side of the state, we lived in a little town called Seward outside of Lincoln, and I served on the city council there and was the liaison with the library. And we had just finished a $1 million renovation of our library, and so I got to understand the things that went with the building projects, but also the things that happened programming-wise. Additionally, my wife is an author, and so we've done different programs for different libraries across the state. And I also serve as the president of the Nebraska Writers Guild, and as an organization, we do lots of different events with libraries. And so I come to this work from a couple of different angles.
I see. Well, how did you become interested in the Gering Library Foundation?
Well, back in late 2018, when they were looking at forming this foundation, because of my ties with the Writers Guild, and also one of my son's teachers who was involved with the Gering Library Board at the time, invited us to come and just kind of see what was going on, see if there was anything that we thought we might be able to contribute. And as we had those initial meetings and those initial discussions, I did kind of identify there were some things in my past, both from city council days and from nonprofit organization days, that I felt like, yeah, I've got something that I can contribute here. And so when the board was formed, when the organization was formed, I served on that initial board, and today I'm serving as the chair. So.
Well, that makes sense. So can you tell me what the foundation is and how it works?
Yeah, so our foundation is set up as a 501c3 nonprofit. So that allows us to do fundraising, and the funds that we take in are tax deductible, and gives a lot of benefit to those who are going to help. We are set up with a volunteer board of directors, and we have monthly meetings that just kind of help shape the direction. We don't have any kind of paid staff. It's all volunteers at this point working on that. And our group is just a great group of people from the Gering Scottsbluff area that want to see the library improve and see the programming that our community needs.
Okay. So what is the mission of the Gering Library Foundation?
Yeah, so our group got together in the early days and had a strategic planning session, and we thought a lot about mission and vision and values and what we hope to see. And so the vision of the organization is building a destination for generations, and that has to do not just with the building project, which is going to be our main initial focus, but also how can we help with programming and different things so that this organization is viable 20 years from now, 50 years from now. And so we are really focusing on ways that we can support literacy, lifelong learning, and community activity, and looking at libraries differently than maybe in the past, where some people think of libraries as just a place to house a bunch of physical books or videos or different things, but we really want to look at that differently and as a center of the community.
Okay. How does the foundation support the library and the community?
Yeah. So as we are getting together and looking at different options for improving physical facilities and looking at programming, we're really trying to get input from library staff, from the community, talking with the city council, and just finding out what is it that people need? What is it that we're lacking? Where are the ways we need to make improvements? And so, as you're probably aware, the comprehensive study way back in 1995 said, hey, there need to be some changes made here so that we can improve how we're serving the community. And we've been kind of slow to responding to that. And so we're really wanting to get that input. And in 2019, we did a community survey that identified some of those top needs and things that the community wanted to see. And we're really focusing in on those and seeing if we can integrate those into both the building project and into programming.
Okay. What are some of the projects that the foundation is working on right now?
So right now, our main goal has been setting up a structure so that we can really get into fundraising for the building project, whether that be a remodel of the current facility or building a new building. And that has been a little bit challenging, but we did get through all the paperwork with the IRS and have our 501c3 status. And have worked with the Oregon Trails Community Foundation. They've kind of been our umbrella organization while we've been working to get that tax exempt status. And so now that that is in place and things are hopefully starting to get back to normal post-COVID, we are going to be really focusing on that fundraising aspect for putting some money in the coffers for that building project.
Okay. What do you see the foundation doing 10 years from now?
Well, hopefully, when we get 10 years down the road, we will have the facilities that we want, whether it be a new building or a renovated building. And at that point, I see the foundation really supporting the programming that the library needs to be engaging with the community.
Okay, well, that's good. What is the biggest challenge that the foundation faces?
I think the biggest challenge that we face would be related to the finances, both on the fundraising side and on dealing with the city council and what that funding is going to look like. Having been on a city council, I know how I viewed projects that came in front of me, and it's not just the initial cost of the project, but it's also what's it going to take to keep things sustained. Mm-hmm. And so we're thinking through those things as we're looking at different designs. Like, you know, if you do a 2-story building, you may need more librarians on staff than if you have a 1-story building where you have things that are easy to see. And so working closely with the city council and making sure that they are comfortable with the direction that we're going, that we're taking into consideration both short-term and long-term cost effect of what we want to do is going to be really important. I know that our city council members in Gering take very seriously their fiduciary responsibility, and they're very careful with their money, and so we're going to have to be approaching them in a way that they know we're being collaborative, that we're aware of that we want them to be able to be responsible with money, but also that it's going to take some investment to give the community what it needs.
Yes. I have heard that because of the internet that libraries are outdated, dying in the digital age.
Mm. Yeah, you do hear that quite a bit, and libraries are definitely changing. They used to be a place where you just had shelves full of books or videos or different things, and now it's really become more about being a community space. I know in Seward, our remodel added a little bit of space for housing of books, but we had a community room with a full kitchen. We had some smaller rooms that had different unique purposes. We had some smaller meeting rooms and some smaller study rooms. And it really was able to change the programming of the library. We were able to have speakers that we weren't able to have before because we now had rooms with capacity to handle that. And so rethinking what your library is really important. Those that continue to think of themselves as just a place to house books are struggling and in some cases dying, but those who are adapting and are really becoming the heart of the community are really thriving, and that's what we're hoping to do for Gering.
So how can I support the Gering Library Foundation?
Well, definitely, we are looking for folks that want to be engaged in this process. We'll take your time, we'll take your talent, we'll take your donations, whatever it is that you're able to do. One thing that I've always said in my role as I've spoken to groups is, if you're interested in this and you feel like you want to have a say in what things are going to look like in the end, then join with us now and become engaged. Don't come in at the 11th hour and say, oh, it should look like this or it should look like that. Come join in those conversations, have the benefit of the knowledge that we're gaining and the collaborations that we're having. And folks can go to gplfoundation.org for Gering Public Library Foundation, gplfoundation.org. Learn more about our organization. Contact us through there to find out how they might be able to volunteer, share their talents, or make donations that are tax deductible.
Okay.
Right.
Is there anything else that you want to say?
Well, I would just say that I feel this is, the timing is really perfect for this to happen for us. When that comprehensive plan came out in '95 and said, we need to expand the library by 2000, and now here we are 2021 and it still hasn't happened. We've watched a lot of other things that the city is invested in, and now's the time for the library. As we start to normalize life after COVID, people are going to need those spaces where they can come together. People in the community need resources from other organizations that are downsizing, or government agencies that are trying to streamline. And it's really important that we're there to serve the community, and the library really can become the heart of the community. It can become that community center, and it's just, we've got the right people in place. First thing we need to work on is those facilities, and then once we get those facilities expanded, we can expand that programming in ways that people are talking about and they want to do, but we just don't have the capacity to do right now. So.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Charles. That was really interesting.
Yes, thanks for having me today.
You're welcome.